the leader of the New York City AIDS Housing Network.
I can!
Yeah! And I'm here to speak about housing from experience. I spent 26 years upstate New York. 17, my last bid. Okay? People come out of prison, right, to reestablish family time with their family. But they're not allowed, because parole is not allowed them to go to public housing. That's not right.
That ain't right!
In order to get parole, you need to have some place to live. So if you deny public housing, they put you in a shelter.
That ain't right.
When I was released, I had a plan. But parole denied it. So they put me in a shelter. I spent 1 day in the shelter. Just 1 day. Belleville Main Shelter. If you know what that is. So I went out. I went out on my own. Parole denied me to get a place. And I said, well, I have to do what I got to do. Okay, to get out of the shelter. So I went on my own. Okay? So it's not right to deny people coming out of prison to go back to reestablish family time, to go back with their family. They should be given a second chance. Because when you go to jail, okay, like me for 26 years, I learned a lot. Okay, right now I've been out for 3 years. Okay, 3 years. Okay, I do volunteer work. I work with Lycan. I help people get places, talk about how to live a better life. I've been in recovery for almost 19 years. And they say housing is a human rights. Okay? What about us? What are we? Okay. Yeah. So we should be given a second chance. Okay. Okay, so it's time to stop denying millions of people in this country their human rights for housing. So my question is, will Congresswoman Waters work with MPA to repeal exceeding laws that lead to ex-offenders being banned from living in public housing and substitute housing? And allow them to reunite with their families upon their release. Question to Hunt. Water.
Well, to answer your question, I can't answer it simply. I said, tell you my boss is, and then give you the lay of the land. So, my boss definitely supports giving people who have paid their debt to society the opportunity to live in public housing Section 8, because she understands that in order for them to be successful, once they're out, that they need housing. Period.
Yes. Without housing, they go into the shelter, they get stressed out, they get angry, and the next day, a week later, 2 weeks later, they'll be back in prison. Right back in prison, because they don't have a place to go.
About this issue, I know D'Angelo and I had a few conversations about how complicated this is. So, even though this is something that my boss supports, she's one member, and the committee that she sits on, which has jurisdiction, does have some Democrats on it who support these provisions. I can speak for Ixon, but Ms. Velasquez also supports this. We've got other pretty strong Democrats who do, but then we've got Democrats who don't. And right now, if you look at the composition of our committee, if something like that came up for a vote, it would probably fail.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
I know it's not right, but that's the lay of the land. And so,
who are they to decide where we supposed to live?
We're here to make sure when y'all make that decision that we're sitting in there
But unfortunately, we're in an election year. We have people who don't even believe that if you're in public housing, that you should be able to not work. Every year we try to do a bill, and someone does an amendment on requiring every single person who's in public housing or Section 8 to be working. And those amendments haven't passed yet, but I think that we might get to a point where they will pass. Even though we have very strong Democrats like Maxine Waters and Bernie Frank and Nikki Glass who oppose it, there are other people who think that public housing is not a right, it is a privilege, and you have to earn being in public housing.
That ain't right.
It's not right, but that's the situation that we're facing. So even though you have strong support from my boss and from Ms. Velasquez, there are other people that should work on it.